but also had moments of sheer drudgery, all of which my sister accepted calmly and worked through methodically. The only real drawback was that it was in Melbourne, Australia, but it was so Daisy that it had been an unmissable opportunity, with the chance to create her own clothing lines and work with so many talented people. It was my idea of hell, but then I worked on my own, and apart from the obligatory book tours and radio and TV slots, rarely spoke to people who weren't dead, buried and immortalised by an interesting gravestone. The book's going okay. I travelled around a bit looking for the perfect place to write, and now I'm in a village called Great Lees. It's not that great, and I don't know what lees are, but the material is good. There was a knock at the front door, which opened directly into the living room, and behind the glass lights I could see a female head. Got to go, Days. I think my landlady is paying a visit. Laters, Win. And, uncomplaining as ever, Daisy went back to doing whatever it was she did. It was one of the few advantages I'd ever come across with being a twin. We could talk or not talk, agree or not, and yet when we did communicate, everything felt as though it was part of an ongoing conversation, something we could dip in and out of and always have that feeling of connection. I opened the door to see Mrs. Call Me Margaret Hill and, much lower down, Scarlett. She was being held by the hand very firmly, and there was no sign of light bulb, so I assumed that the news of her earlier adventure had travelled. "Hello. I was just taking Scarlett home, and I thought I'd pop by and make sure everything was all right for you in here. Have you found the bin liners? Only the bins have to go out every Monday, like it says on the notice, and it's Sunday today, and so I wanted to remind you, and I wondered—" Margaret had the tightly managed hairstyle and slightly random clothes of a woman whose life consisted of more wayward arms than a spiral galaxy, and the little worry crease between the eyes of someone who isn't sure they're doing a very good job of holding it all together. Scarlett made a face at me. I returned it. Margaret was still talking. "And if the bin lid isn't down, they won't take it away. We've complained to the council, but there's not much they can do now it's all contracted out. Oh, bother, and I forgot. I've got to call in at the library while they're still open and take those books back, and put up the notice about craft shops for Alex, only they close at 12 on a Sunday." "I'll stay here then, Granny, with Winter. I can help her find the bin liners while you go to the library." The little girl slipped out of her grandmother's grasp and into the living room, where she plonked herself down on a chair and looked around with evident curiosity. "I know where everything is," she said, despite the wide-eyed taking in of the scene that gave the lie to her words. "Oh, no, I can't leave you with Miss Gregory. That wouldn't be—" Margaret trailed off, the worry crease deepening into a veritable gully. "I helped you in the graveyard, didn't I?" Scarlett appealed to me, turning surprisingly adult-looking grey eyes to mine. "I'm useful, Granny, and I really hate the library. Mrs. Cookson said I drew in the pony books." "She can stay with me," I said, hoping that my expression implied that I had things to be doing, and it had better not be an extended stay. "It's fine." "But your work—" of which I knew there was no conspicuous sign. My laptop was closed, the pictures were still in the camera, and there wasn't so much as a notebook to hint that I was actually doing any. In fact, apart from a couple of photographs, and my pyjamas neatly folded on the end of the Spartan bed upstairs, I might not even be here. I gave an inward wince, and made a mental note to tell Daisy that I was travelling so light these days that I seemed to have more mental baggage than physical.
"Hurry up, Granny. I need to turn light bulb out soon."
Scarlett had got up again and was looking at the framed pictures I'd propped up on the shelf above the gas fire. She stopped short of picking them up and squinting at them, but I knew she wanted to. People always did, as though identical twins were an optical illusion.
"Are you sure? She can be a bit of a handful."
Margaret was backing out of the door, but slowly and dubiously.
"I'll only be a few minutes. The library is just over there, next to the little bistro, and I really ought to put these posters up for Alex. He's hoping that the old mill can be turned into craft shops when he's finished."
"We'll be fine. Scarlett's right, she's been very useful." And I felt a bit sorry for her being described as a handful in front of me. Surely parents, grandparents, should keep their opinions of their children to themselves. I knew mine always thought of me as the strong, capable, practical one, while Daisy was the artistic one, but they never said as much to either of us, although my mother had said that we'd fallen into our chosen professions because of the sort of people we were, and that was the nearest she ever came to acknowledging our differences. But then she'd been the one who tried to dress us alike until the incredible temper tantrum